Well, I will say that I'm really glad to have a chance to think about this topic and talk about it. It ended up being something that became really important to me in the last couple weeks. And, my topic is the Buddha way. How do you live your life in the Buddha way? And I really try to, be serious and really make an effort to have my practice be kind of a guiding force in my life all day long. And but recently I've had just a real topsy-turvy time at my work, and had many just way over the top challenges. And like people, you hear people say, "Oh, that's a good chance to practice." And so I thought to myself, if this is really the way, then I should be doing it now, because boy, I need it now. And the Buddha is known to have said late in his life that he only taught two things. That there's despair and discomfort, or dukkha, in life for humans, and there is a way to be free of it. And all the rest of the stuff he taught was, skillful means for accomplishing that goal. And let's see, my notes are in a shadow. I think the subject of the teaching is first that there is suffering in the world, and I don't think that's a big surprise to people. I think clearly everybody has times when things are going good and their friends are happy and things work out and they all of a sudden get a big check in the mail and things are wonderful. And then there are times when things are bad and you get evicted from your house, or your parent gets really, really sick, or your child gets hit by a car, or, really horrible things happen too. And that's life. And a significant part of our practice is not shying away from the difficulties that we have in life. And it's a really good idea, a really good suggestion, because this is the life you have. You don't have any different one. And if you're not going to live this life in a real upright, serious, spiritual, content way, you're not going to get another chance. This is your chance. You got to do it now. But what does that mean? So like when tough things happen, so what does it mean? What is it you do then? So that's the thing I've been thinking about a lot. And you're not going to get away from suffering and disappointment and distress, because that's just coming at you all the time. Some of the teachings by Thai and other teachers emphasize that's not what we're trying to do. We're not trying to get away from suffering. because it just isn't possible. And trying to get away from suffering, in fact, is the very source of our distress. And so in the heart of the Buddha's teaching, one of Thay's books, in a chapter about the 7 factors of awakening, Thay talks about concentration, one of the factors. And he says, concentration is not wholesome in itself. A thief needs concentration to break into a house. The object of our concentration is what makes it beneficial or not. If you use meditative concentration to run away from reality, that is not beneficial. If you use meditative concentration to run away from reality, that is not beneficial. Even before the time of the Buddha, many meditators practiced concentration to remove themselves from the world. Practicing this kind of concentration, the Buddha was not able to liberate himself from suffering. So he learned to use his concentration to shine light upon his suffering, and he was able to go deeply into life and develop understanding, compassion, and liberation. So I take that to heart and believe that what we need to do is not try to focus on the good things, but not try to focus on the bad things. The 7th factor of awakening is equanimity. And that's, I think, in a way, maybe the most difficult and the most important factor. The idea being that everything that comes our way, we approach it open-heartedly. And we are going to respond to it in some way, hopefully in an appropriate way. Now, in a book written by this guy, Reb Anderson, who's a Zen priest, his book's called Being Upright. That's where I got the upright from. One part, he says, understanding interdependence, you do not try to distance yourself from any manifestation of life. No matter how painful it is, no matter how deluded, you do not feel separate from it because everything's interdependent, and therefore you do not try to get away from it. You also don't run after it. I think that's a key as well. Because remember, you want to, as we keep hearing with teachings over and over, you want to be here, now. You don't want to be letting your worries overcome you so that you're just thinking about the future. What am I going to say to that person when I see him tomorrow? Will so-and-so agree to what I really want and have asked them for, but I'm afraid they won't agree? Or what happened yesterday? I don't know how I'm going to get over what so-and-so said to me. So instead of thinking about those things, don't run after it. You just deal with whatever comes up without trying to manipulate, negotiate, or finesse the situation. Being upright in the midst of whatever is happening is the way to understand the Buddha's teachings of dependent co-arising. And I have felt that is the teaching. And the idea is that as things are happening to you here and now, in each interaction you have with somebody as your day goes along, you want to be upright, be right there, and deal with whatever's happening. You aren't just a doormat that people walk on. You deal with whatever's happening. Maybe the response is that you get mad at somebody. Maybe the response is you hug somebody. Maybe the response is that you tell somebody how they're acting in a way that hurts your feelings. But whatever it is, you just be right there and respond openly and honestly. Don't think about the future. Don't worry about the past. Be in the present moment and really be there. So at my work, I had these things I was dealing with were getting more and more complicated and just absorbing all my time, and there were lots of things, interacting, and plenty of opportunities to worry about what will happen tomorrow and next Wednesday, and just on and on and on. It kind of was building. Then some things happened that made it seem like everything's working out so good. I can't believe it. I'm really happy. 2 days later, kabang, it all blew up and everything was as bad as it could have been. And so, I said, this is my practice here. If this is real, then I've got to just, as I'm hearing from people, I tell them what's going on. I interact with them. These things happened, but I go out to lunch and I interact with each person I meet genuinely and, intimately. And I really was able to find that it just totally changed my attitude about my life. And it's, I'll say it's very hard to do. It's not easy. And, as I was somewhere in this part that I was reading from Thai, I couldn't find it just now, he says that we really need to get out of our head and our worrying and thinking and get our attention back into our belly. Every 15 minutes. That's what he said. So that I figured that'd be about maybe 50 times a day. It's a lot, day after day. But it's a time-consuming and endless practice. It is. But it's a matter of being present for the difficult things, letting them be there, because you can't really make them go away. You can interact with them differently. You can't make them go away. So you can feel the distress, but don't worry about how you're going to respond to it until you have a chance to. When you have that chance, then you do. Until then, worry about what's in front of you. And it really changes, for me, it really changes my feeling about all these stressful situations, because they don't have the same grasp upon me, because I'm not trying to push them away, but I'm also not letting them take control of my emotions or my spirit. And it really is, it gives me the feeling of kind of like being in like a meditative state all day long. And it's different than sitting on a cushion, because I'm walking around and I'm talking to people. But it is like meditating, that you're constantly noticing whether you're getting grabbed by your emotions and worries, and instead focusing on, no, I'm just going to deal with what's really right in front of me here instead. Over and over and over and over. So our teachers recommend to us to live this way, and say that being in the present moment and being aware of everything that's happening but not letting it grab you and take over your spirit is the way to freedom and enlightenment and wisdom. And I myself am very glad to have found this path and had a chance to have it bring me a real sense of contentment, even though I'm in the midst of all sorts of crazy stuff. And I'm very glad to get to share it with all of you.